Peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. This is episode 56. Right. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Had a great Thanksgiving with their loved ones. A safely distanced Thanksgiving. For those who traveled, I hope you're quarantining right now and keeping yourself safe. It's gonna be a brutal winter, but we're gonna get into it right away. Episode 56. Actively breaking generational curses. So A, B, G, C. Actively breaking generational curses. Maybe we should turn that into a brand or something like that. Because we all have generational curses. We all have things that we are choosing not to live with anymore, and are actively breaking them. Even if you start from education, our parents, grandparents, middle school, high school education, and here we are, college grads, masters and PhDs. That's breaking generational curses. But then when we talk about things like our ability to read and write, that goes above us because our ancestors, as Black people and Latinx people, our ancestors were stripped of that choice to be able to read and write. And here we are with the ability to do that. So that's us paying homage to those who couldn't. And now we can. So this is why we have to be grateful for the choices that we're able to make. I feel like we're so ungrateful sometimes because we have a choice. The people before us didn't have one. And now we do. They sacrificed for us to be able to have a simple choice. And that's something that we should always show gratitude and give gratitude to those who deserve it and those who became before us. But then when we talk about relationships, love, hugs, kisses, it's another generational curse where you have generations of people who walking around in this earth feeling inadequate, feeling like they're not worthy of love. They don't value themselves. They don't think that they're adequate enough to deserve these things. Like, no one should hug me because I've never been hugged. And then you get to a relationship and the person you may struggle with these things because it's hard to give something you never got. In one of my later episodes, there was no time. Our parents and ancestors and great-grandparents, they were in survival mode. Ain't no time for that shit. We're not here for hugs. We gotta work. We gotta pay these bills. I got 6, 7, 8 kids. That's what I'm worried about. So I'm not worried about hugging you and loving you and validating you every day. I'm worried about getting to this money to keep closing your back. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna show you I love you. But then when we talk about other relationships, having a relationship with your child, regardless of your relationship with their mother or father, is another generational curse where we have a whole bunch of single parent homes due to the fact of egos and pride and argument and things like that, but not knowing the long-term effect that that's going to have on that child. How is that going to affect him or her in their future and their ability to love and trust and have healthy relationships, not the same toxic relationship that your mother and your father had. You literally seek that same kind of person and you inadvertently, unconsciously like it. Not knowing that there's a better way to communicate and a better way to show love and do these things, and that takes me into the circle of misery where this is an example, but I don't want it to be taken out of context at all. But you have that one single mother and you have another single mother who's going through the same thing that other women went through. So instead of encouraging her to work it out, he's like, nah, fuck her, forget her. You know what I'm saying? Or him, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the dude and the girl. Actually, it goes better. The dude and the girl do this. Like, he's like, yo, bro, you don't got to deal with her. Yo, sis, there's other men out there. Not knowing, like, you're being selfish. You being selfish because you want your circle of misery to grow. You want a whole club of single moms. And you over here, you want a whole circle of single dads. You have to go to the club, turn up, and be dots. And that's not a way to live. So when does that cycle end? It ends with conversation. It ends with being in tune with why are we like this. And shout out my man T. Jacobs, my man Tess, where it's not, it is hitting the root of the problem, but why are we like this? Why are we battling these things? Why did our parents, what is their why? And when you talk about these things where You know, you can go into other things, you know, where you're talking about alcoholism, obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, you know, all these things that run in our family too, that are generational curses too, that now our health is in jeopardy, you know, and how are we going to combat these things, you know, and that starts with a conversation, starts with consciously being in tune and seeing these things, and also self-worth, you know. We have to start now educating ourselves and validating ourselves as individuals, because where things get tricky is that our mom is probably so far, she's in her 50s and 60s now, she's not going to change if she doesn't want to, and she doesn't see reason to, because her life is, she's comfortable with her life. For her, it's like, why do I have to change anything about myself if I run my life, I do as I please, and hey, like, my kids are grown. Like, let them go and do whatever they want with their lives. You know, not knowing that 28-year-old me or 35-year-old you is still seeking mommy's love. Still seeking daddy's love. These are things that you're going to be looking for your whole life, and looking for it in different places. You know, so their short-term decision to be an absent father, that messes you up in the long run. So are you going to be that selfish? You know, are you going to continue that cycle to be that, you know, absentee father, you know, to be that mom, you know, or to be parents, you know, from no men or women, to be parents that are going to encourage their children to go down the path that they want to go down. You know, are we going to be the in-tune parents, building relationships with their children to not only be a parent, but not to say friends per se, but, you know, just to be a person that you're my rock and I confide in you no matter what. You know, and it's easier to run and bail. You know, it's easier to not have this conversation. And that's where ABGC comes into place. Like, we have to have this conversation. You can't run. I'm going to hold you right here. You're going to sit down, you're going to talk, and we're going to figure this out. And that's what that's what we need as a people. Sit down, confront it, talk about it, and let's figure this out. Because running, now we have men and women running the streets. Because you decided to run, now they're running. And they're running in the wrong direction. And the next generation is going to run in the wrong direction. And it's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle. So, part 2, there's going to be a part 2, because obviously this conversation keeps going. But we're just going to tackle certain personal stories with our guest, who I won't announce yet. But he's a brother of mine, and we're going to do a special episode with you guys. But listen, happy holidays. Reach out. I know it's a tough time. Holidays are a high for some and a low for others. Like, subscribe, comment, you know, email me, call me. I'm always open for a conversation. And I'm here. I love you. God bless you. And we'll talk soon.